Let's talk about that. There was an article, a column you saw in Anscape on ESPN, right? This site. And it talked about Saquon Barkley not just going to the White House. And we've been kind of flirting with this topic, right, for a couple of days. Uh-huh. But this column made us really want to talk about it, right? Like we should address it. And Saquon Barkley didn't just go to the White House. Would you say that, Kelvin? He thoroughly embraced Trump. Like
100%.
Played golf with him.
Yep.
Playing around with his grandkid. Like it was like, wow. Like it wasn't like, okay, I'm here. I'm respecting the office of the president. Hi, shake your hand, thank you, and keep it moving.
Right.
And he's been getting killed. Like, just, I don't even know what else to say, right? Would you say that? Getting killed, social media.
Without a doubt.
And I don't remember, and this is the thing, okay? We're not having a political conversation, but we're having a conversation about the ramifications of aligning with people. It happens today. Whereas maybe people thought it before, but just didn't have an outlet to say it. Uh-huh. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Like they thought it, but they didn't have a Twitter or an Instagram or something.
That's why the barbershop was so huge. You just
exactly.
That's where you kind of had the community conversations or the think pieces and all that.
100%. And I don't remember it being this until Trump became president.
Right.
I really don't. I mean, like I don't. People used to go to the White House, photo op, right? Ronald Reagan, George Bush. I don't remember it ever being an issue about not going. Do you? I'm older than you, but I don't remember it.
No, you're right. And maybe a guy didn't go or two, or I think Jordan might have missed one. Craig Hodges, but like.
Craig went and got in trouble because he wore a letter to George Bush.
Yeah, he handed a letter to Bush. A
letter about things that needed to happen in the black community.
You're right. But it wasn't as well documented. Now it's like it's almost like a prop bet. Who's going to show up? Who's not going to show up? Who will shake his hand? Who won't shake his hand? It's gotten crazy where that's just where we are with it now.
And the other thing too is, it's not just Trump. People didn't go to Obama.
Correct.
Tom Brady didn't go.
Tom Brady.
And some other players who made it vocal that they weren't going to meet Barack Obama, the first black president of the United States. They wanted no part of him. Okay. And I guess when I look at this story and Saquon, and Jalen Hurts is the exact opposite. He did not go. They're on the same team, both star players. Am I right?
Yep.
And I wonder, this is the question we really want to ask, and then, Kelvin, you take it over. Does it affect whether or not you root or how you feel about somebody else? And I mean, you have two guys on the same team if you're an Eagles fan. And if you don't like who's in the White House, are you now even a bigger fan of Jalen Hurts because he didn't go? And if you are a fan of the president, are you a bigger fan now of Saquon Barkley? You know what I mean? That he did go and embrace Trump and the whole 9 yards. I think that there's something to that. People find out who you keep company with, and it changes how you look at them. Is that fair?
It does. I think to add to this, and something you brought up, because I want to read a quote from Saquon Barkley here. He put on his I think it was his Twitter. He said, LOL, some people are really upset because I played golf and flew to the White House with the president. He put that president in all caps. And he went on to say, maybe I just respect the office, not a hard concept to understand. And then you fast forward a little bit. He went again. He said, now y'all get out my mentions with all this politics and have an amazing day. He concluded it with. So I said that to say this is where it gets interesting. And this is where, to me, I enjoy having these nuanced conversations with you, my brother, because it's not as easy as, man, don't go to the White House. Or it's not as easy as, I should be able to go to the White House because, it's the president. I respect the office. Because there's layered. The reason why you mentioned oftentimes it wasn't a big deal historically, hey, whether it was a Democrat, President Clinton, whether it was President Bush, a Republican, most of the time, most teams went, most players went. But now things have become so divisive. Things have become so, I call it gang related. You're either red or blue, almost like Blood and Crips. You're either left or you're right. You're entrenched in it. You can't have friends who are the opposite side. You're ready to fight people. People have to be secret about it. It's gotten to that point. And let's just be fair. Trump previously and now, the way he conducts himself has been unlike any other president. So he's added fuel to that fire. Typically, presidents stay out of sports. They'll go to a game. They'll throw a puck out. They'll throw out, and that's pretty much it. He got into it with them during the Colin Kaepernick era, calling them SOBs, making fun of them for kneeling, calling LeBron this, calling Steph Curry that, and we've had so much of that where it's become so confrontational, and specifically, a lot of African Americans feel a certain way about how things have been handled with him. So, you talk about a league like the NFL, I think it's 70% black, so you're getting teams that are showing up. For instance, the Eagles, and not just black players. It isn't just black players, but you had 12, I think it was at least 12 players that did not go. And I think what you're having happen is people aren't aligning with not just the politics, but the decorum, right? We can disagree on politics, but it's the way you're saying things. It's the way you're treating people. It's the way you're calling women this, calling women that, disrespecting other politicians, disrespecting other politics. Remember calling Haiti and other countries like that pieces of, S word. And so I think people are saying, nah, I don't get down with that. How things are being handled from a decorum standpoint, how things are being handled in an inhumane way. So I'm not going to rock with that, and I'm not going to go respectfully. But I get other people are saying Obama, Clinton, Bush, Trump, the president is the president. I respect the presidency who's sitting in it. I'm a proud American. I'm happy to be there. This isn't a politics thing. This is just my civic duty as an American and honoring the position. So what happens is when maybe these conversations become more interesting, if we're going to keep it a buck, is because oftentimes it's perceived as black people are a monolith. So all black people got to hate Trump. All black people must not want to go to see Trump, right? So when someone does, they look at him a particular way. Or if he shakes his hand or maybe laughs with him, he's perceived a different, a certain way. And that is where it becomes challenging because a lot of people feel like a Jalen Hurts. They may not say it, but they feel like that. But there are a handful of people like Saquon who say, man, whoever it is, I respect the offense. It's an amazing invite. And you start to get this challenge of where people feel like, yo, man, you a black man in America. You know what we've been through this historically. You know what some of the challenges are. You see what this administration's gone at DEI. It's gone at trying to put people of color out this country who are illegal immigrants.
How about
Jackie Robinson?
Destroying books and taking them out of the libraries and art. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to unpack.
Right.
And when you see that, I think, for me personally, and I have the utmost respect for people who this country gives them the right to make their own choices. Mm-hmm. You have a right to burn the American flag, whether people like it or not. You do.
Right.
You
right.
absolutely have the right. And you have the right to go and embrace somebody who you buy into, and you also have the right to not. And they can't force you to go. And I don't think there's a demerit on your record either way from the standpoint of you make a choice from that, but the way people respond to you. And I'll just be honest. I've lost friends. I have. Uh-huh. Not over politics it's not politics or policies. It's more about
decency.
Yes. And there's a difference. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. This is not about, the Republicans want to give rich people a tax break. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's different.
Hey, maybe we need to spend a little bit more money on the homeless.
Do you right. Like me and you we could be on different spectrums and have that conversation.
Yeah.
But decency and the way you treat people just doesn't, I'm not that kind of person. And I would have a hard time. I'm not even a hard time. It would be impossible. I could have been the biggest star in the NBA. Just say, I couldn't go. I'm telling you, I couldn't go. Whether people liked it or didn't like it, because I still think I have to live with myself. And the idea that you're worried about the office or the building, the office of it rather than the human being who's there.
Yeah.
That would be where I draw the line. You have to be a decent enough person because for me to be able to embrace you in any way or to want to be around you or to want to be photographed with you. Does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. One thing I want to add to this, and I've always questioned. I asked Kareem Abdul-Jabbar this once at my Spectrum News 1. I do, for those who don't know, I anchor morning news out here in Los Angeles. And a few years back, during COVID, we had there was a lot of protests going on. There was a lot going on. George Floyd. It was the summer of George Floyd, and it got crazy out here in L.A., specifically around Santa Monica. We had live on the air. We got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar during breaking news to talk about what was going on. And I asked him something. I said, why is the onus oftentimes on black athletes to talk about what may be the plight of black folks, but is really American issues? It's not like we're not Americans. You get what I mean? It's American issues. And I said, no one ever pressured Peyton Manning to have to speak up and talk about things. Tom Brady ain't never had to say anything. LeBron got to speak up. You better say something or you're not this. Hey, Kyrie, you better speak up and you better say something. Jalen Hurts, you better not go to White. And I always said, while I absolutely think it's admirable and I respect it, and that's more along the lines of who I am, but I always thought that's not fair. That why doesn't anyone else have that? During Colin Kaepernick, there were a few, so I don't want to make it like it was only black athletes.
I want to say this, and I do want to throw this in.
Yeah.
I thought Aaron Rodgers at the time when he spoke out about Kaepernick and that it wasn't about the kneel, I thought that was like for a white quarterback who was at that time very popular to make a statement about that was about as, you know what I mean?
Like rare. It was a rare.
It really was. I was really, really impressed that he was, because if you remember Tom Brady, he acted it like he didn't even know what was going on. You remember?
Exactly. So where I'm going with that.
Stuff.
I ain't really up on it like that. Yeah. The reason I bring that up to tie it back to what we're talking about is what this situation does. Think about if you're a 24-year-old player on the Eagles, right? I don't really know. I'm still learning who I am as a young man. I'm excited. Dang, I don't really like certain things the president said and things he done, but dang, it is the White House. That's kind of cool. I get to take pictures so my children like, yo, Dad went to the White. The pressure they feel of like, well, you better not go. Or if you go, you a sellout. Or if you go, you're this or that. That I've always said, well, what about their, specifically in the NFL, white counterparts? So they can go and just get, scot-free, if you will, or they can not go and it just be, you get what I mean?
Because they didn't go to Obama. There was people that
and Tom Brady didn't go. It was kind of like, oh, Tom Brady didn't show. Oh, okay. Anyway, and yet the conversation becomes Saquon Barkley went and had a good time, or Jalen Hurts didn't go because he's standing on business. But I'm always like, look at the added pressure that are specifically and particularly on African-American athletes, because if you go, you sell out, or you ain't about the cause, you ain't down for the people. But if you don't go, yeah, brother, you this. But if you don't go, then it's like, well, dang, am I perceived as, overzealous or angry black man or too militant? And I'm always like, well, dang, look at the added pressure on a group that already has gone through a lot and oftentimes marginalized, where that's not the case. There could have been a white linebacker for the Eagles who doesn't go, and we don't even know it. It's not a conversation. Even if he's just like, oh, he didn't go, it's like, okay, cool, whatever. Or a star player, and it's not a indictment on who he is as a man. It's more of a news note, meaning, oh, so-and-so didn't go. Cool, great, whatever. It's not an indictment on the man. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, I get it.
And I've always thought that wasn't for, because let's say the Lakers.
It's a different burden. It's a definitely.
And I asked Kareem about that. Like, yo, if you didn't speak up, if Bill Russell didn't speak up, if Muhammad Ali, like, why was it the onus always on you? And it was just great to have that conversation with him. But again, that's what I'm looking at as like Saquon did absolutely for whatever he felt. He said, I'm honoring the office. Kelvin, don't necessarily have to agree. Rob Parker sounds like you don't agree. But now he's going to get bashed, as you've seen. And therein lies the challenge.
877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. As a sports fan, you're supposed to love the player no matter what. They're wearing your team's uniform, right? I'm down with my team. He's on my team. But do you feel differently when you find out whether somebody went to the White House, didn't go to the White House? Does that bother you? Does that change your fandom? That's what we want to know. Do you look at players differently or cheer for them less or more if they embrace your president? Forget about Trump, your president, right? It could be Obama. It could have been Trump. It could be Bush, whoever it was. Do you feel good or bad depending on how your favorite player embraced the president?
Rob and I having a great conversation, a nuanced, a very heartfelt conversation, and we want to just open it up to you all. We're talking about two opposite ends. Jalen Hurts does not go. He had a scheduling conflict, doesn't go to the White House. And you have Saquon Barkley, who did it all up, hung out with the President Trump and went and
played golf played with the grandkids, all that.
Exactly. So your thoughts on just how to handle that? Does it matter to you if your favorite athlete does something like that, does go, doesn't go? Do you chalk it up as the game?
Let's try to get a couple people in here. I know a lot of people want to chime in. We can't get to everybody. Ron in Birmingham, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Ron?
Hey, gentlemen. I think it's a great conversation. You both have brought up some good points. Calvin, you had mentioned earlier, we have a president who, I guess, gives his opinion on more things than a lot of prior presidents. And if you're a person that really doesn't pay attention, let's say you're not on X and you're not into this, you may miss a lot of what he says. But if you are someone who's tuned in and you listen to some of the comments he makes, I mean, we all know what he said about Charlottesville.
Yep.
And then a month ago, he made the comment about that he was going to pardon Derek Chavez. So if you're a person of color, which I am not, I hear these things and I'm thinking, if you are a person of color, how can you not think that the man maybe isn't racist? Which,
right.
I mean, he does say a lot of things, whether it's in jest or not. But if, again, I'm not a person of color, but if I was, I would take offense to a lot of those things.
Hey, but Ron, let me ask you this, Ron. Why do you have to be a person of color to be offended, though?
That's a good point. So just because of I hear what you're saying.
Yep. Because you seem to be a very nuanced, well thought out person, and I think that goes back to my point. You might have heard me say, Ron, is the onus always ends up being on the African Americans to, well, I would feel like this, or well, I wouldn't go if I were black. But it's like, why is it only on the persons who are often the ones that are being disrespected?
I think, I hear you, Ron. Thanks for the call.
Great call, Ron. Thank you.
Yes, we do. Appreciate for joining in. Marcus in North Carolina, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Marcus?
Is this Face the Nation?
Yeah, I did. Very nice. Nice, Marcus.
Okay. Well, my comment is, you only live once. Now, you can't pick your president. You can try, but if whoever wins. And when you got an opportunity to go in there as a Super Bowl champ, we're talking about a lot of them athletes who come from NFL are from the South. The South is a football factory, and they come from deep-rooted black people who served in wars, who bent their back for this country to build this country. Their ancestors would want them to go because we're bigger than Trump. So we ignore what he says and what he does, and we go and say we are who we are with this football trophy. We're the champs, and we're proud because we have to defeat everybody in
Thank you, Marcus.
Make it to that chance.
Yep, appreciate it.
Yeah, great call, man. Some great calls here, Rob.
Yep. Andre in Massachusetts, because we got Tysha's Tower coming up. So, Andre, you're last up on this one. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for taking the call. Great subject. Listen, I think this is instructive. It's a great conversation because, Saquon Barkley decides not to go or decides to play golf and spend time with the president. Jalen Hurts decides not to go, but Saquon Barkley getting more of the emphasis, more of the eyeballs. And it's important that people, you have to give each the opportunity to make their own decision. And when we get the snap judgments, nobody's jumping down Jalen Hurts' throat and calling him out of his name for not going. Saquon takes a different approach. You do have the right as a fan to say, okay, this gives me some insight into who you are, and I understand, that we may disagree. But the slippery slope that you put yourself on is when you take it a step further and either criticize or try to make the decision for them. That is the reason why Donald Trump got more of the African-American vote in 2020 than 2016, because people felt that they were being forced to a certain extent, or that they had to go a certain way versus having the ability to do it for themselves. So I think that's what I'm taking away from this in terms of, I saw it on social media, people had a lot to say, and then he rightfully responded and then stepped back. But the heart of his response is, I think, where people can learn something. Why you think you can make the decision for me? Whether you agree, and there's a lot to disagree.
I don't think it's about making a decision, but once you make it, it's like anything else. Like if I find out something about an owner of a store or a business, right? And I'm currently, and I'm not going to get into it, but Kelvin, I'm currently boycotting certain stores, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am.
Yeah,
because I found out intel about what they're doing. And you know what? I've decided that I won't spend my money there. I'm not making a public thing about it, but that's a conscious thing you do, correct?
No, I get it. You make a decision based on what matters to you, what kind of your heart
what
posture. What
matters to me.
Yeah, what you can,
right. There are stores I will not buy anything from. All right.
Hey, and I want to say this real quick before they get to Monty. I think I speak for my partner here when I say this. Thank you all. I've been at the show now for 6, 7, 8 months, whatever it's been. And Rob and I have had some of the most deep, intellectual, nuanced, interesting conversations that you all have been a part of. And I want to say thank you for doing that. And not, talking about sports. Shut up. You guys have joined in, made it even better. And I'm really appreciative. And I think I speak for my partner when we say that.
No doubt. 100%.
No doubt.